Imagine a Monday morning. The sun, a familiar life-giving star, is climbing in the sky, its light streaming through your window. You can hear the distant hum of traffic, the gentle clatter of a neighbor's bin, the chirping of birds in the garden. You sit down for breakfast. The milk pours predictably into your cereal bowl, settling with a gentle splash. The coffee in your mug stays put, its surface a perfect still mirror. This is a world defined by its anchor, a silent, ever-present pull towards the center of our planet. This anchor is gravity. It is the reason your feet are planted firmly on the floor when you get out of bed. Imagine that at precisely 8:03 a.m. on this perfectly ordinary day, the fundamental force of gravity simply switched off. The consequences would not be slow or gradual. They would be immediate, absolute, and catastrophic. So what is this force that has just abandoned us? In the simplest terms, gravity is the universe's natural tendency for things with mass to be attracted to each other. Every single particle in the cosmos, from the tiniest atom to the most colossal galaxy, pulls on every other particle. The Earth, being incredibly massive, pulls on you, me, the oceans, and the very air we breathe, holding us all to its surface. For centuries, we thought of gravity as a mysterious force, an idea first mathematically described by Isaac Newton. But then, in the early 20th century, Albert Einstein gave us a revolutionary new perspective. He proposed that massive objects actually warp the very fabric of the universe, a four-dimensional tapestry he called space-time. According to Einstein, we are simply following the straightest possible path through the curved space-time that the Earth has created. The moment gravity vanishes, the world becomes untethered. The first and most dramatic effect would be on our planet's atmosphere. Without that pull, the air molecules would no longer be bound to the surface. The immense pressure would cause it to expand violently outwards into the cold vacuum of space. Within seconds, the sky would effectively disappear, and the breathable air would dissipate, lost to the cosmos. Simultaneously, the world's oceans, rivers, and lakes would meet the same fate. Without gravity's pressure, the water would explode upwards. Imagine colossal spheres of water, larger than mountains, detaching from Earth's surface and drifting into space. The oceans would boil away almost instantly due to the sudden drop in pressure, turning into massive vapor clouds cast off into the void. The structures we have built would also begin their slow, silent disintegration. Without gravity, that compression vanishes. Bricks, steel girders, and glass panels would drift apart. Entire cities would slowly deconstruct, their components floating away to form a strange, artificial asteroid belt. The Earth itself would begin to expand and break apart. Chunks of crust and mantle would drift away from the core. The Earth would cease to be a planet and become a rapidly expanding cloud of rock and molten metal. Let's return to that kitchen table. The milk from your cereal bowl would form a perfect shimmering sphere due to surface tension, a wobbly white orb drifting through the air. Your pets would be utterly terrified and confused. A cat, famous for always landing on its feet, would be helpless, launching into slow, uncontrolled tumbles. Fish in a tank would be in an even stranger predicament, trapped in a watery, transparent prison drifting around the living room. Getting dressed would become an Olympic sport. Trying to pull on trousers would likely send you spinning in the opposite direction. Pushing off a wall to get to the door would send you sailing across the room, with no easy way to stop until you collided with the opposite wall. The contents of every drawer and cupboard would create a dense, surreal cloud of household debris. The mundane world would be replaced by a floating junkyard. The solar system itself is a delicate gravitational dance. The Earth and all planets are constantly falling towards the sun, their momentum perfectly balanced with gravitational pull. The instant gravity disappears, this dance ends. Our planet would shoot off into interstellar space like a stone released from a sling, becoming a rogue object forever leaving the warmth of its parent star. The same fate would befall every object in the solar system. The Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, and all their moons would abandon their orbits and sail off into the void, dissolving into a swarm of independent objects. Even the Sun would not be immune. The Sun is a gigantic fusion reactor held together by its own colossal gravity, creating immense pressure and temperature at its core. Without gravity to contain this pressure, the Sun would explode in a cataclysmic blast, instantly vaporizing the inner planets and sending waves of radiation and gas expanding outwards, a final, brilliant farewell to the order it once maintained. In a world without gravity, would we finally achieve the dream of human flight? It's a romantic notion, but the reality would be far more terrifying. We could fly in a sense, but it would not be controlled flight. A gentle push would send you drifting toward the vacuum of space with no way to stop your momentum. Without an atmosphere, you'd be exposed to harsh radiation and extreme cold. The gases in your blood would bubble out, and moisture in your lungs would boil away. It would be a swift and gruesome end. Life itself would be impossible. Every biological process is calibrated to gravity. Our circulatory system works hard to pump blood upward against the downward pull. Ultimately, the question of adaptation is moot, because our environment would be annihilated. There would be no ground beneath our feet, no sky above our heads, and no future to adapt to. Gravity is the master architect of the universe. In moments after the Big Bang, tiny quantum fluctuations in density were amplified by gravity over millions of years, pulling matter together. This gravitational collapse formed the first stars. As hydrogen and helium clouds were drawn together, they grew denser and hotter until their cores ignited with nuclear fusion. These stellar forges created heavier elements, the building blocks of planets and life. When they died as supernovae, gravity gathered these enriched clouds into new stars and planetary systems, including our own Earth. Gravity holds our moon in stable orbit, creating tides and climate stability. It keeps our atmosphere and oceans in place, creating the cradle where life first emerged. Every aspect of our world is a direct consequence of gravity. It is the constructive force that shapes random chaos into structures of breathtaking beauty and complexity. We began our day with a simple cup of coffee, held securely in its mug, a mundane miracle we never stop to consider. The next time you pour a drink or drop your keys, take a moment. These simple events are demonstrations of a universal law of breathtaking elegance and power. They remind us that we are connected to the earth, to the sun, and to every particle in the cosmos by this invisible, unbreakable tether. We are creatures of gravity, born from it and shaped by it. It is not a cage that holds us down, but a cradle that holds us together. Life is not about escaping gravity, but about celebrating the wonderful, complex world it has allowed to exist. It is the reason we have a home in this vast cosmos. The simple, reassuring fact that what goes up must come down is one of the most profound and life-giving truths in the entire universe. And that is truly a wonder worth contemplating.